So the other day I was talking about, the Citadel wallet and so on. How I feel as though, like, not necessarily Citadel wallet, but something from, Hedera is going to be the one, right? Because, let's face it, um, this whole notion to think that Ledger is always going to be the one. We obviously have people get out of Ledger. Some of you guys didn't panic. You look at like, hey man, it's not the end of the world. I get it. But I do still feel as though that's not necessarily Citadel. Maybe that will be the one, but Hedera is going to get the job done from two different factors. With everything they've been trying to do as of the last year or so, with whether it's the Citadel wallet or whatever else out there, but especially with the mechanism for lost seed phrases. You combine those two things in an all-in-one wallet, hardware wallet. Are you kidding me? You really think that Ledger is going to be like really, really compete with that? And I'm not saying necessarily that Hedera has the exclusive technology to make that happen, but with patents and so on, that would make sense. Anyway, let's jump into this for a brief moment. So this is Citadel Wallet. There's a blog alert in regards to this. The second part of the blog post on Citadel Wallet's security is dropping on June 2nd. That's just coming up here real soon. In part 2, they dive into the wallet's secure architecture. For instance, secure element and processor, secure Bluetooth, root of trust, security audits. Citadel Wallet, security redefined, secure element, processor, Bluetooth. Like we mentioned some of these things, right? But my key thing is, while it's just a brief thing, I want people to understand that we're going to take you to this, and there's a lot that's mentioned that dates back to May 2nd, early this month. So it says the power of protection, Citadel Wallet and Guardians of the Citadel NFT launch. It says in the days leading up to the launch, Andy Kulikian, if I'm pronouncing that right, the founder and CEO of Guardians of the Citadel NFTs and Citadel Wallet, had no time to lose. Bold, insightful, and meticulous, this hardware and electrical engineer with years of experience in embedded systems development for highly critical industrial, military, and avionics applications running to yet another meeting. Hardware wallets are a crucial element to the cryptocurrency ecosystem of all different flavors. They are, right? Most of us own some form of a hardware wallet, right? But when I got further into this, it says, harnessing his early interest in the possibilities inherent in the Hedera's Hashgraph protocol, his HBAR to the Moon online persona, and his passion for Web3 applications, and he put his head down and got to work, basically. The resulting Guardians of the Citadel Headstarter whitelist pre-order launch on March 29th, 2023 was a defining moment for the Hedera network. Listen to this. He has a passion. He says, have a passion for what you're doing. Cultivate a passion for what you are doing. It's almost impossible to be good at something unless you have a passion about it, because you've got to do 10,000 hours of intent work on it, not just doing it. Having a passion also makes life more fun. Quoted, of course, by Dr. Lehman Baird. The decision to use Headstarter was a wise one. Built on Hedera, Headstarter curates, supports the best early stage Hedera projects and connects them with support, community, and decentralized funding. Its mission is to enable the success of promising distributed applications on the Hedera network. And this project is indeed promising. The Head Start team is made up of industry experts that assist early stage projects to bring their applications to market by facilitating fundraising, as well as providing the tools and assistance needed for launching disruptive, I always say distributed ledgers technology all the time. Disruptive, decentralized apps that bring real world value and innovation. In regards to this, so the innovative aspect of this project, if you're wondering, lies in its introduction of a novel approach to acquiring hardware wallets using NFTs known as Guardians of the Citadel. With each NFT purchase, buyers receive a set number of hardware wallets that can be redeemed physically or traded as wallet NFTs. The current Guardians are comprised of these three distinct types: Ice, Fire, and Nature Knights. With Nature Knights already sold out, these Guardians are designed with AAA gaming standards and feature immaculately detailed artwork. Here's some of these things. I know some of you guys are into some of this stuff. I'm not. But, one thing I do like is, let's face it, a lot of you guys own ledgers and so on. But this brings it to a whole new level, in my opinion, right? So additionally, the Knights offer several benefits such as the ability to vote and share in revenue, accessing GameFi, community perks, giveaways, and airdrops, which are all unique compared to other hardware wallets. And again, this is one of the key areas I want you to pay attention to. This is unique to other hardware wallets. And this is why I want to point out some of these things. Like when I make statements about, in the future, this could very well be the go-to platform for a hardware wallet. Am I too far off? I don't think so. So let's go into a little bit more about this. A scroll through the project's white paper, which I didn't do that, but nonetheless, you're welcome to do so, right? Confirms that a Guardian NFT pre-order for a physical or NFT wallet represents a significant step forward in the development of the digital asset ecosystem, offering a compelling blend of technological innovation and creative design. You gotta keep in mind, this is all connected to Hedera. I own a pretty decent sized bag of Hedera. Some of you guys have multiple bags, but Hedera has been for the longest time up until Jasmine. I got really into Jasmine. It was in my top 5. Hbar has moved to number 6, but the point is, it's still part of my top 10, and I'm glad about that. And this just this doesn't even scratch the surface as far as what Hedera brings to the table, as far as their ecosystem, you name it. We're always talking about the governing council of Hedera, but this hardware wallet, it just continues to impress. This is why I like to give updates in regards to the hardware wallet, because the way I look at it is you have more than just a few incentives. I mean, it's I'm not trying to bash the ledger, but it's this brings, we talk about different layers of utility. Does your hardware wallet have these amount of layers of utility, if you will? I think the answer is no. So the March 29th launch, right? However, it was not without its hiccups, right? And we understand this. Anything that's a new innovative product, right, especially a hardware wallet, you're going to have probably some hiccups. But I like the idea that you have some top, scientists, if you will, come on, Dr. Lehman Baird and some people like that behind things like that. That's so impressive. So it says Andy working side by side with the Head Starter team at Citadel Discord mods pulled together to identify, resolve, and communicate the quote maxed out issue within the first hour of the launch. Within the first hour and a half, Guardians of the Citadel NFT Knights began to appear on Twitter. 7 hours into the Head Starter whitelist mint, more than 1,200 hardware pre-orders were sold. We're always talking about supply and demand. Boom, there's a perfect example of that supply and demand, making significant waves in the current bear market. Within the first 5 days, Citadel raised 3.3 million Hbar, sold 1,007 Knights, along with 1,627 pre-order wallets. As we approach the end of the first 30 days of the whitelist and public pre-order mints, growth has remained steady and consistent. I like seeing that. I'm a big fan of when things go into consolidation. I know this is a hardware wallet, but keep in mind this, right? I'm one of those guys. I realize that maybe I'm not part of the overall population that looks at it the same way, but I'm actually a fan of consolidation when things do trade sideways, for the longest time, for instance, 9 months, a year, and so on, because I understand that when we get into a real bull run and things approach all-time highs, you'll see parabolic things, right? And when I think about this, for instance, I'm thinking, there is a tremendous amount of supply and demand for hardware wallets and so on, or cold storage, you name it, right? People are going to, as we speak, choose am I going to jump ship from Ledger to something else? Will this be it? Listen to this. Citadel has now sold almost 2,000 hardware wallets. Were you aware of that? As an increasing number of people recognize the value of pre-ordering a Citadel wallet by purchasing a Guardian of the Citadel NFT. Again, another layer of utility. Incentivizes, rewards, you name it, right? Some of the outlines, right? Look at this quote. Some people say, give the customers what they want, but that's not my approach. Our job is to figure out what they're going to want before they do. I think Henry Ford once said, quote, if I'd asked customers what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse, right? Think about where we're at in Web 3. You know what I mean? Approaching this whole thing, going from Web 2 to Web 3. if you ask the average person on the street about crypto, they're not going to know about it. They might have heard of Bitcoin. Is that why more and more people are buying BTC? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand the concept that it's a store of value. There's still opportunity there. You could earn a nice yield on, what you got into, especially those people who got into, for instance, BTC at 12,800 during the time of FTX, and compared to where we could go here in the future. We should get well past the previous all-time high for BTC, 69K and so on. But this is a great statement, because the reason why it's a great statement is people are only focused on the now. I hate to say it. Not everybody is focused on the future. If everybody was focused on the future, you would see a lot more millionaires and billionaires. But the wavering dominant population is still going to be middle-class citizens who are stuck in the middle class. I'm still part of the middle class. I'm not too generational wealth yet. Just because I made, turned 10K into 120K in 2021 with crypto doesn't mean that I am still not labeled part of the middle class. That was nice to have it, but that didn't make me wealthy. But the point is, this is a great statement. And the statement basically is that just like even way back then, they just want a faster horse. They're not seeing the broader perspective of where we're advancing in technology. Just like when people come into crypto, they're only seeing what's on the surface. Oh, the only one I know of is Bitcoin. Well, I better invest into Bitcoin. And of course, that will probably always be a thing, right? But what about us who have done the research, whether it's with these hardware wallets and so on? Do we understand the bigger picture of what's, the innovative products? I think Citadel is basically one of these, right? So I'm not going to read all this, but, I'm going to talk to you about just real quick where it says, the demand, right? So it says, the Hbarian community reflects the project's innovative approach and growing demand for secure, user-friendly solutions within the Hedera digital asset ecosystem. I think in the future, there's going to be a tremendous amount of demand for this. And I think maybe even as we speak, people are recognizing this. If you have examples like was previously mentioned here, where Citadel now sold almost 2,000 hardware wallets, and on top of that, at the end of its first 30 days, was it? Excuse me. Let's go further. Within the first 5 days, Citadel raised 3.3 million HBAR and sold 1,007 nights, along with 1627 pre-order wallets. There's already demand there to begin with. Where does this thing go to the next level? And it's tied into Hedera. I mean, we got so many different examples about Hedera's HBAR. It's it's not even a blockchain, right? Its consensus algorithm is not even a blockchain. It's the gossip protocol, right? The Hedera hash graph consensus. It's a whole different type of DLT. There's so many things, and it's from my scene, as far as the top 100, may very well be this and BSV the two fastest ones out there. That's significant.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.